Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here. I think this is really important legislation. I'm Senator Katie Hobbs, District 24, and the Democratic leader in the Senate. During the 2015 legislative session, Arizona lawmakers voted to reduce temporary assistance to needy families, cash assistance to a lifetime limit of 12 months. This is the lowest in the nation. The national limit is 5 years. Because of this cut, 1,600 families in Arizona with 2,700 children will lose their TANF benefits on July 1st of this year. Reducing these benefits will not help struggling families get out of poverty. It will only cause them to struggle more. Our legislation, Senate Bill 1138 and House Bill 2327, will reverse this devastating and unnecessary cut and keep these families from plunging deeper into poverty. This cash assistance helps families in poverty find stability. It gives a mom and her kids fleeing domestic violence time to find safety and start their lives over again. It gives a teen mom the opportunity to finish high school or start college and increase her chances of being able to support her family financially. TANF averages just over $200 per family and is overwhelmingly spent on utilities and rent, so it keeps families out of homelessness. The governor and Republican legislators like to talk about opportunity for all. If they really believe that, they should support this legislation and reverse the TANF cuts.
Good morning everyone. Representative Randy Freese from Tucson. I'm also a physician at the University Hospital down in Tucson. And I'm proud to sponsor this legislation along with Senator Hobbs. As Senator Hobbs mentioned, last legislative session, Arizona cut the temporary assistance for needy families program eligibility from 24 months down to 12 months of assistance. This program provides assistance to families with children transitioning out of poverty, assistance that helps them pay rent and pay utilities, assistance that allows parents to put food on the table, and assistance that helps parents find jobs. Arizona is the only state in the nation to limit this program that helps families transition out of poverty to just 1 year. That means 1,600 families struggling with poverty, including 2,700 children, will lose assistance come July 1st, 2016. During the budget process last year, the Democratic caucus was told by the majority leadership in debate that this cut is a tough and difficult decision, but a necessary decision, a necessary cut to make in order to balance the budget. Because the budget process was initiated very early last year and wrapped up so quickly, we had no information to allow projection of fiscal 15 returns. We did not know that there would be a surplus of not only one-time monies, but a forecasted ongoing surplus. We now know that FY15 returns are better than expected. We have more money available to us. We now have a forecast for some ongoing revenue in FY16 and future years. Let's share this good news with families struggling to transition out of poverty. Let's keep giving them the support they need to make a new life for themselves. In order to support these families, Senator Hobbs and I have introduced companion bills to reinstate TANF eligibility to 24 months in Arizona. House Bill 2327 and Senate Bill 1138. Every member of the Democratic caucus supports these bills. We ask Governor Ducey and majority leadership to allow these bills to go through the legislative process, to allow the public to weigh in on the value of this program. Don't block them at the front door.
Great, thank you. Next up, we'll have Joan Service from the Arizona Coalition to End Homelessness, and she'll spell her name for you guys.
Good morning. On behalf of the homeless service providers and advocates working throughout the state to end homelessness, I'd like to start off by first saying thank you to Senator Hobbs and Representative Freese for introducing this important legislation. My name is Joan Service, spelled Joan, last name is Serviss, and I'm Executive Director of the Arizona Coalition to End Homelessness. We seek the end of homelessness in Arizona and will lead this effort through advocacy, education, and working with local communities. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about families experiencing homelessness, as they are the main population aided by TANF cash assistance. Families represent the fastest growing segment of homelessness in the United States. The Arizona Department of Education consistently reports more than 29,000 school-aged children experiencing homelessness at some point throughout the school year. As we know through the work of many of the family homeless service providers, research has shown that more than 60 families a week will slip into homelessness. Family homelessness is not primarily driven by mental health or substance abuse disorders, but rather the gap between family income and cost of housing. Families experiencing homelessness move frequently between shelters, overcrowded apartments, and temporary arrangements with relatives or friends. Lack of consistency, routines, privacy, safety, health care, uninterrupted schooling, and a sense of community make it extremely difficult for children and youth to flourish socially, emotionally, and academically. Children and youth experiencing homelessness are twice as likely to experience hunger, have moderate to severe acute and chronic health problems, and repeat a grade in school. While TANF is available to low-income families who qualify, it may be difficult for them to access that, especially for families experiencing homelessness. The best available data indicates that only 41% of families who are homeless are receiving income and employment supports from the TANF program. The inherent condition of homelessness itself, such as unstable housing and limited resources, are obstacles to accessing and retaining TANF benefits. Families who are homeless often need a complex range of supports and have fewer resources than lower income families who are housed. There is a homelessness hardship, but with limited transportation, no internet access, limited funds for increased wireless minutes, and just the sheer documentation required to submit that homelessness hardship, it's very difficult and creates barriers to receive that exemption. We received information from many of the case managers who are doing the diligent work of ending these individuals and families' homelessness. Typical usage that they've shared and the typical usage of the TANF cash assistance is it's just the bare minimum needed to pay for utilities for their housing or to pay for food products that's not covered by SNAP. Stuff like diapers, bus tickets, non-food items such as soap, paper products, cleaning supplies and laundry detergent, school uniforms and school supplies, basic undergarments. This creates a barrier. This limited cash assistance creates a barrier for these families to survive and succeed. So we call on the Arizona State Legislature and Governor to pass Senate Bill 1138 and House Bill 2327. Thank you.
Wonderful. And then finally we have Dana Neymark, CEO of Children's President and CEO, of Children's Action Alliance coming up. And first we have a couple of members of the delegation joining us behind. So.
Good morning. I'm Dana Wolf Neymark, President and CEO of Children's Action Alliance. And we are here today because, make no mistake about it, TANF is about children. 8 out of 10 participants in TANF in December of last year were children. The other 2 out of 10 were their parents working hard to take care of them. No policy that is bad for TANF can be good for children. You should know that before this new policy, Arizona already had very tough, rigid rules for TANF. Our benefits are the 42nd lowest in the country. No other state cut TANF benefits more than we did since the Great Recession. Back in 1980, about half of families and children living in poverty in Arizona participated in TANF. It is a basic safety net to help them get back on track, stay out of homelessness, stay out of hunger, stay out of illness and crisis while they get back on their feet. Last year, because of all the changes in our rules for TANF, only 1 out of 14 poor families with children participated in TANF. This is not a drop to be proud of. While we unraveled the safety net, child poverty grew. We did less and less to help families move from welfare to work. They're not able to get jobs, and they're falling into crisis. We're very proud that these leaders behind us have proposed and will support and work hard to champion going back to a 2-year time limit for a lifetime, which is already very tough and very hard on many families. Thank you for being here today.
Dana, how do you spell your last name?
3 names, DANA, WOLFE, NAIMARK. No hyphen.
Thank you.
All right, so we are here today. We are hopeful that Governor Ducey and legislative leadership will heed our call. However, early indications point to a troubling disconnect between rhetoric and action. The recently released executive budget pulls TANF funding away from its intended purpose, and through a series of accounting gimmicks and shell games, balances the budget of the beleaguered Department of Child Safety on the backs of would-be TANF recipients. Arizona receives more than $220 million as a block grant to fund the TANF program, but instead uses less than $50 million of that on direct cash assistance. The remaining money is penciled into the DCS bottom line and leveraged to, quote, offset general fund need. We ask, what better need does the governor have in mind for general fund dollars than a program that has proven to keep children and families together? What better need than a program that has a long track record of providing a path towards independence? What better need than a program addressing the insomnia-inducing reality, What better need than a program addressing the insomnia-inducing reality that 2/3 of our incorporated cities and towns have a smaller population than the number of Arizona children in out-of-home care? We hope, through the leadership of the people standing behind us and the entire balance of the legislature, we hope that we can pass House Bill 2327 and Senate Bill 1138. Restore TANF today. Thank you. And with that, we'll take questions. If you'd like to answer, or have some folks behind me answer some folks from the podium, we can do that. Or if you'd like to peel off and do one-on-ones, happy to do that. Just one thing that I'd like to point out, in addition to the bill sponsors, Representative Plumlee has personal experience with TANF, and she is now thriving